Okay, it looks like we are live and recording. Welcome in to our virtual full moon circle, celebrating this full flower moon in Sagittarius and also in Anuradha Nakshatra. And welcome into the 13 Moons membership if you're a member that's tuning in live. We are going to drop into our circle a little bit differently tonight, but before we officially get started, you might want to have something to take notes with. You maybe want to have something to drink, something to wet your whistle. We are going to be together for about 45 minutes to an hour. I also have a tarot reading for tonight if you want to take notes on that. And I'll be suggesting some tools and elements that you might want to work with, as well as some practices that you might want to try underneath this full Sagittarius moon. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping as well while we take these few minutes for anybody else to get the notification that we're live and sign in. I am updating the 13 Moons membership over the next few days. I am not sure what happened, but probably in the spirit of Mercury retrograde, some things that I posted over the past few weeks did not save and get fully updated. And so there's some missing pieces from May's cosmic information, astrological insights. There's some journaling prompts and some other things that I need to put in. And I'll also be adding more information around this particular full moon. So tools and elements to work with, magical practices, modern day practices, all of those goodies that I tend to put in to the membership for each new and full moon. So I want to apologize if you were looking for stuff in the membership and couldn't find it. I realized today, in the spirit of a full moon illuminating things, I realized today that some things did not save. So I will be getting that information updated to you very, very soon, within the next couple of days. And if you're watching the recording right now, I am originally going live in our 13 Moons membership, and that is my astrology membership that tells you a little bit about what's going on in the cosmos all of the time. So I give you guidance around the new moon, the full moon, the zodiac seasons, the seasonal shifts, the wheel of the year. I share different tools and elements to work with. I share journaling prompts, intuitive journaling prompts, guided breathwork, meditation, and yoga practices, as well as just information with each astrological insight, how to look it up on your chart, how things may be impacting you in the collective. If you're looking for kind of a one-stop place to learn about astrology, then my 13 Moons membership is where you would find that. We also do the moon circles in there live now, and then I edit and put the recordings out in my, on my website, my YouTube, all of my little channels that I put my recordings out on. But if you want the live stuff, if you want to work with me exclusively, and if you want to get all the practices that may not be available on these recordings, then you might want to join the membership and take part. By the way, everything is recorded, so all of the recordings are always up and available as well. So say perhaps you're watching this replay, and then a month from now you decide to join 13 Moons, you're going to see this full moon circle recording in the membership, and you could go back and watch that. So that's just my little plug about the membership if you are not a member. But if you're live, of course you are, and you're here, and we are going to drop in together tonight. We will be talking tonight about the full moon in Sagittarius, also known as the flower moon, and we will touch base on the Vedic astrology of this moon being in Anuradha Nakshatra, and also being Buddha Purnima in the East. In addition to these astrological insights around the moon, I'll also be sharing information on Gemini season, touch base a little bit about Jupiter and Venus, who are coming into play right now. I will suggest some elements to work with after we do a guided meditation practice, and we will do a tarot reading. I will go over the tarot cards I pulled for past, present, and future guidance with this full moon and the rest of this lunar portal. So make yourself cozy. As I said before, maybe have something to take notes with, have something to drink, anything you need to help you be more present here tonight. Invite it in now. And in order for us to be more present, we are going to open our circle with a lotus blossoming meditation. And this is very different from what we normally do. So normally I would start by bringing in the 5 elements, suggested tools to work with around those elements, and then we would do an invocation to bring in the guides and guardians of those 5 elements. In the spirit of doing things a little bit differently, Sagittarius energy is made up of fire. It's very adventurous and spontaneous, and also likes to explore and maybe try things out or do things differently and see where that takes them. So that is the energy that we will bring in tonight by opening our circle in a different way. We're also going to be doing this meditation, this lotus blossoming meditation, to symbolize the energy of this full flower moon. And this is also a moon represented by a blossoming lotus in Vedic astrology, which I will, of course, talk about later. So as we get started here tonight, I will invite you into a comfortable seat, Sukhasana position, or any other comfortable seat that you need, or perhaps you find lotus pose. So I can access lotus pretty easily in my practice, but I do understand that that is not comfortable and accessible for all. So if lotus padmasana is not in your practice, that's okay. You can simply sit any other way. And as you settle into your seat, can you also become a flower? This moon is known as the flower moon in some of our indigenous traditions. This is also at the, last month of spring, and fertility is all around us. We're starting to see these blossoming flowers all around us. There may be some extra pollen in the air, but for now, we will become one with that energy by embracing the floral senses, the floral essence, the floral embodiment that you can discover from within. So as you're seated here, can you really begin to open and soften your body? This will create more room for your breath. This will create more room for adjusting the spine into proper posture. Once you feel open, blossoming like the flower, can you imagine that stem of the flower, nice and sturdy and strong, just like your spine, really stacking, being present, sticking out with fertile energy. And at the top, can you feel your essence? Can you feel as if this is your pollen starting to radiate all around you and also beyond your actual auric space? Can you just feel your essence starting to move out into the ether? And as you become your own personal flower, can you take a nice deep breath in through the nose, receiving prana, out through the mouth, just relax. We're going to bring in, we're going to bring in the lotus mudra. So you're going to join together at your pulse points, your wrists. You're also going to enclose the outer edges of your pinky finger and your thumb. And then your other 3 fingers are going to curl on each side like the petals of the lotus. We are going to really relax and hold this at the heart space. Now, as we inhale, we will open up this lotus, just keeping it conjoined at the pulse points. As we exhale, we will slowly close the lotus together, first into that lotus seal of pinky and thumb, then bringing the index fingers together, then the ring fingers, and then the middle fingers, eventually into prayer hand or Anjali mudra at the heart space. So let's try this just with the breath. Create your lotus mudra, relax it into the heart center. Inhale, open up, stay connected at the wrists. Exhale, close pinky and thumb at the same time, and then index finger, then ring finger, then middle finger, savoring that Anjali mudra at the end. Again, inhale, open at the pulse points. Exhale, lotus mudra, followed by index fingers closing, ring fingers, middle fingers, sealing in Anjali mudra. So we are going to add another layer to this. We are going to add in the mantra Sa Ta Na Ma. And it's going to be more like Sa Ta Na Ma, and really savoring that Ma. S-A T-A-N-A-M-A. This represents birth, life, death, and rebirth. Sa-ta-na-ma, birth, life, death, rebirth. This can also be summarized into Satnam. I am that I am, but we're breaking it up even deeper. So as we add this mudra, we will create our lotus flower. We'll inhale and open, connect at the pulse points. Exhale as we close pinky and thumb, sa. Close the index finger, ta. Close the ring finger, na. Close the middle finger, ma. Savor the energy in prayer hand. Let's do one practice round. Inhale, open, stay connected at the pulse points. Exhale, sa, ta, na, ma. And we are going to do this 9 rounds to represent the energy of the birth portal, the conception portal, the pregnancy portal of the human experience 9 months in, and even kind of 9 months out in that first developmental stage of mama and baby in the new relationship. Allow yourself to represent that as you are reborn into somebody new underneath this full moon. Let's bring our lotus mudra together at our heart. Maybe in that lotus seat or just a comfortable seat. Find your inner flower, softening up, rooting in tall, and letting your essence open up around you. We will begin. Inhale, open. Exhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Inhale, open. Exhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Keep going. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Just relax after this. Let yourself settle. Maybe staying in that lotus position or holding the lotus mudra at your heart. Maybe just relaxing. Noticing how you're feeling on the other side. Breathing into it. Reflecting. When you're ready, just relax. Maybe shift your seat up if you need to. I'm going to shift around here. Open up my ankle a little bit after that lotus position. And feel free to put in the chat if you're here live how you felt either during that meditation or after. This is a lotus blossoming meditation to help us align with the flower energy and the lotus energy of this moon, but also embracing those energies of birth, life, death, rebirth that we may be going through right now. We're in this portal of a full moon, but also we are in springtime, and we're starting to maybe see changes within ourselves as the solar energy increases. We might start to feel a little bit different, or we might want to focus our energy in a different way. We might want to bring in new intentions, focus on new projects. So invite in whatever is coming in right now in that concept of the life cycle that we go through over and over and over again in this life. This is meant to help us drop into the present. It's also a very unique way to invoke or invite in the 5 elements and the guides and guardians of those 5 elements. We are working with our hands, and each of our fingers represents an elemental energy. The thumb is our fire element. The pinky is our water element. The index finger is our earth element. The ring finger is our air element. And I won't hold it up alone, but the middle finger is our ether element. So when we join left and right sides, we are invoking in the elements and the guides and guardians of those elements. And we are sealing in our circle in a very different way. I wanted to do things differently tonight in the spirit of that Sagittarius energy, both being spontaneous and adventurous and also trying out different things. And also, as mentioned before, because there is a lotus energy with this moon. So this moon in Vedic astrology is in Anuradha Nakshatra. This is known as the star of success. And it is represented by the lotus flower blossoming up out of the mud. And that detail is important because we've been navigating some intense energy. We have been in the season of Aries, and Aries energy has ruled a lot of other planetary archetypes even past its sun season. We also had a total solar eclipse in Aries 2 months ago. And right now, Aries is with Rahu again, igniting that ecliptic energy again, reminding us maybe of what we went through or the hard work we did, or maybe now we're starting to see the results of everything that we worked through. This isn't just the total solar eclipse from a couple of months ago in Aries season. This is also that total solar eclipse way back in in the fall when we had Libra. And also there was a partial lunar eclipse in Aries. So this energy, we've been working with it for a while, but it is a fire energy, which is the energy of doing things, taking action, getting things done, transmutation. And now we have a fiery moon in Sagittarius on the western side of the world, as well as in this Mars-ruled energy of Anuradha Nakshatra on the eastern side of the world. Why does Mars rule this energy? Well, that's because this constellation or lunar mansion of Anuradha sits within Scorpio. Just above Entourage, if you're familiar with a little bit of the constellations or the stars. But what you need to know is Scorpio energy is ruled by Mars, this planet of taking action and full force. And also Saturn rules this nakshatra, and the energy here, very karmic. This is not the karma that we usually think about. A lot of times we think about karma, we think about it in kind of a negative aspect. This is more about karma in the successes of your ventures. You know, what goes around comes around. So what is coming around after what went around, if that makes sense? Eclipses are always a time of coming back around. So are Mercury retrogrades, which we just navigated in the previous lunar cycle. So what has come back around very recently with Aries and Rahu together, or in the past few months, or in this past year or so with this eclipse series that we've been working through and we're now past, or I guess just being reminded of right now. But the highs and the lows, the shadow work and what we went through, the alchemy that we have achieved, the gold that we have gained, the lotus that has blossomed out of the mud, our own actual flower that we're embodying now as we bloom and blossom out of the muck that we had to navigate and traverse. This is the energy of this moon from the eastern side of the world. Now, also, in addition to a lotus flower, this lunar mansion is represented by the front of the army. It's the energy of, pushing forward and starting to see progress and starting to find victory. As mentioned, this is the star of success. And we don't just do this alone. This is very important to note. We never reach success alone. Yes, we do hard work. Yes, we do a lot of the internal stuff and the external stuff. and we show up to ourselves and we have that right mindset and we set our frequency and we have free will to go in that direction. But ultimately, the universe conspires to put players on our chessboard to help us find true victory. This star of success, Anuradha Nakshatra, is ruled by Mitra, which is one of the Adityas, the solar deities, and this is the Hindu god of friendship and loyalty and integrity. So yes, we've had to befriend ourselves to find success. We've had to befriend our shadow side. We've had to show up to ourselves. We've had to do the hard work. But we've also, maybe perhaps, even if it's just our spirit team, had a little bit of help to get back into our alignment, or to find healing, or to find growth, or to find success and fortune. This moon is asking us to reflect on all that we have gained to help us receive what we are now reaping. Are there people that have come into your life to help you? Are there support systems that have come into your life? Paths of practice and spirituality? Do you have a personal deity that you've been working with? Do you have a crystal that you've been working with? You know, it doesn't have to be a certain god or deity. It can be anything that you've been working with to bring in extra energy to make your dreams come true. Recently, I was having a conversation with a friend because I was talking about all this magic that I'm in right now with this new job opportunity, teaching on this international campus. And they said, what are you doing? Because you have been working on this for a while. What are you doing? What did you do to manifest this? And I said, man, I'm just in a state of gratitude, showing absolute gratitude every night before I go to sleep, showing absolute thanks every morning. The first thing I wake up, I write down something I'm thankful for, utilizing my crystals, calling on my spirit team, pulling cards and really listening to their guidance, checking into my birth chart. I mean, there's been multiple ways that I have been ensuring myself that I'm on the right track, or I'm doing practices to get the insights I need to keep going and get to this point where I'm receiving. But we are reminded now that we do not do it alone. Even if it's just with sources, help, and guidance, we always have somebody on our side to help. And that's important because on the eastern side of the world, and even within this Scorpio energy that the moon is in on the eastern side of the world, from the western side of the world, this moon is in Sagittarius. And whether you're looking at kind of that hermit energy of Scorpio, or the hunter, huntress, go-getter, I can survive in the woods on my own energy of Sagittarius, either one are trying to do things on their own sometimes, and almost too much. I got to clear my throat here. I can feel it coming on. But we almost try to do it too much. And if you're feeling that energy right now, right, maybe ask for help. Even if it's just from your spirit team, or maybe you have somebody else, or maybe if you don't have anybody or you don't feel like you have anybody, you call in help. You ask the universe to provide and trust that it will. But let yourself be assisted on your journey right now. Every sign has a high side and a low side. Sagittarius energy expresses on the high side by getting things done, taking action, being positive, being supportive. But on the low side, they try to do everything on their own. They don't gift themselves or shower themselves with as much support and affection. They tend to overexert themselves. So we have to do that dance of that energy and be careful with that, and remind ourselves that also Sagittarius is the full moon opposite of a Gemini sun right now. And Gemini is very social and also very adept to technology. and they're ruled by Mercury. And one way or another, they've got people in their corner, or they've got, the tools they need, or maybe both, to make things happen. And that energy is reflected on the moon and reflected back to us. So remind yourself right now that you can do whatever you put your mind to, but also you have the help in order to make it happen. One more thing to mention over here on the eastern side of the world, it's Buddha Purnima. I'm wearing my Buddha shirt today because it is Buddha's birthday. This is the day, or this is the moon, that Buddha received enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. It is also the same moon that he left his physical body and took ultimate enlightenment under. So this is an interesting energy for any sort of Buddhist or somebody that practices Buddha. But whether you practice Buddha or not, this is a time to invite in more meditation. Dropping in and being with the present, being with yourself, being with your mind. And meditation is a wonderful way for Sagittarius energy to kind of calm itself down. Also for that Gemini sun to calm its anxious mind. If you're just feeling heightened prana from this full moon phase in general, this is a great way to find equilibrium amongst all of that. And also there's a lot of tug of war sensation right now between our solar plexus and our sacral chakra and our root chakra even, and that can create some restlessness as well. So meditation is extremely potent right now, and Buddha's birthday, the Buddha Purnima, reminds us to meditate as much as possible. Buddha says if you are doing the dishes, be completely present doing the dishes, meaning make everything a meditative experience, even when you're not sitting here actually doing some sort of meditation. Why do we want to meditate? This is how we become inspired. This is how we get new ideas. This is how our spirit team reaches us and gives us those visions, those images, those inspirations, that guidance, that motivation, those answers, those insights, those aha moments that we need in order to move forward and grow. But we have to be able to also let ourselves sometimes just be in a state of non-doing. When we meditate, so much is happening on the inside, and it helps to balance out all of that going and that doing on the outside. So even if it's just for tonight or tomorrow or these next few days with this full moon portal, can you take a sacred pause to meditate more? And maybe meditate in a different way, because again, Sagittarius energy on the western side of the world encourages us to explore and learn and try things on for size. And so maybe you try a different type of meditation right now. Me personally, I am trying to get back into a regular daily meditation, a much stronger practice like I used to have before having a kid. But one of the main things I'm going to start doing, which is very different, is I have a certain frequency that I am going to listen to every day for at least 5 minutes, maybe try to work my way up. It's a very high-pitched frequency. It's really difficult for me to listen to, but I know it's really, really good for my wellness right now. And so that's going to become my new, very different type of meditation. I'm going to be listening to this frequency for about 5 minutes every day, and then after that I'll see what I do or where I want to take my practices. But this is one way, just an example that you could do things differently, but try to mix things up with your meditation practice and just see where that can take you over time. Let's shift to the western side of the world and talk a little bit more about Sagittarius. Now, I already mentioned that we're in the sun season of Gemini, but we are in the full moon of Sagittarius because the moon is opposite the sun right now. There's another energy, or two energies at play coming in right now. The two guru planets of Jupiter and Venus are currently combust in the sun at 29 degrees of Taurus. So they're just right on that cusp. And they are also reflecting right now onto us. So we have Sagittarius energy because this moon is fullest and in Sagittarius. We also have Jupiter in the heart of the sun at the cusp of Taurus and Gemini, reflecting onto Sagittarius. And this is Sagittarius's ruling planet. And then we also have Venus coming into play, reflecting onto us, reminding us to prioritize pleasure along with that joy of Jupiter. Now, anytime we have planets together within 1 degree of each other, and these are both at 29 degrees of Taurus, from Vedic astrology's perspective, we are in a Graha Yuddha. We are in a planetary war. The planets are pulling at each other. They're in kind of a tug of war, and they're each kind of stepping on each other's territories. They're merging their boundaries. The boundaries are breaking. They do not exist. Now, sometimes these convergences can be very supportive and cooperative. Other times they can be dynamically, magnetically polar opposite and really create that sensation of war that we sometimes feel. When the planets are combust in the sun, in this planetary war, it's more about whatever's going on within us. It's not going to be so much of the external collective. This will be things within us that feel at battle around our joy and our pleasure. For example, do you have limiting mindsets or limiting program that prevents you from living a life full of joy and pleasure? Can you truly believe that you could have heaven on earth? And if you can believe that, then fantastic. You are vibing with the energies at hand. You are feeling jovial, Jupiter, encouraged with the Sagittarius energy, helping us to believe in our intentions coming true. You are inviting in Venus, who rules this whole lunar cycle that started with Taurus energy, who's still very much affecting the full moon and allowing us to be in that blissful, orgasmic state in whatever we do and wherever we go. But if you are not allowing yourself to align with that concept, with that possibility that you could have that life full of luxury, full of bliss, full of joy, full of wellness, whatever it is, then you've got some work to do. Right? And that's where that planetary war could be coming into play inside. So full moons are a time of release. No matter what side of the world you're looking at, they're a time of letting go. This is a time of letting go of those limitations, letting go of that programming, releasing those mindsets that tell you you cannot have it. You cannot have it all. You cannot constantly be in bliss, be in joy, because you can. And Sagittarius wants you to know that you can. Now, when we have Venus and Jupiter together, just from a Western perspective, we can see that as a conjunction, also assisting us right now to find what we need in order to find more of that. Why? Because it's conjunct in Gemini. And Gemini is a social sign, represented by the twins, represented by both sides, represented by the mirror. And this may be a time where you are, of course, creating more joy and bliss and pleasure within yourself, however you can. But maybe you're also inviting in others to help you laugh every once in a while, to take you on an adventure, to remind you of who you are and what you're capable of. You need that support system in order to truly feel like you can make it all happen. So invite that in right now. Again, as I've said before, Vedic astrology, Western astrology, doesn't matter. The stories are kind of the same right now. Maybe you're looking at Mitra, the god of friendship, or maybe you're looking at the sign of Gemini in Gemini season, which encourages us to also put ourselves out there and get a little social. We have a lot of invitation right now to trust the process and to be positive about everything. Sagittarius is one of the most positive signs of the zodiac. And they also are always working to learn more and understand more and gain more, to have more confidence so that they can feel more powerful and positive. Sagittarius is the sign of the student, the forever learner, the one that's trying to figure out the meaning of life, and the cosmic professor. Gemini is also the cosmic student and analyzer of data and put together of puzzles, and the one who really works hard to teach on a little bit of a smaller scale. So you have a very powerful opportunity underneath this moon to either become a student or learn a new craft or step into a new subject of study, or maybe become a teacher and teach what you have already learned, or maybe you are becoming a professor or a master and really helping more on the collective with great change around the knowledge and the wisdom that you've gained by applying it in multiple ways, in different ways. These are just some of the examples that can come through, but you can also be your own inner guru at this time, in the spirit of Jupiter and Venus, the two gurus coming into play. So invite in whatever you need to learn, to expand, and to grow right now, because ultimately this moon reminds us that we're put here on this planet with a purpose to learn. Of course, this is school. This is hard knock life school a little bit. But healing is not our only purpose. Learning from our karma is not our only purpose. We are also put on this planet destined to live in this human experience and all of its pleasures and joys and what it has to truly offer us. So let the full moon illuminate how you feel right now. Do a check-in. How do you feel? Do you feel happy? Do you feel like you could be happier? Do you feel like something's blocking your happiness? Do you feel like you're in a life of pleasure? Do you feel like you could have more pleasure? Do you feel like something or someone is blocking your pleasure? Remember, it's on the internal right now. Jupiter and Venus combust by the sun. Don't blame the external if that's what you found yourself just doing. This is a me problem. This is a you problem. This is not a other problem. This is an us problem. Us. So look within yourself. Ask yourself what's blocking your joy, blocking your bliss, blocking your pleasure, blocking your ananda, blocking that orgasmic tantric state, blocking the kundalini from rising, blocking your alignment, blocking your ascension. And whatever it is internally, let the moon take it. Try to breathe it away. Try to give yourself that true reset so that you can be open to receive this elated experience that life is trying to offer you right now. So real quick, I do want to mention just a couple of modern day practices. We're not going to necessarily do them together, but they're just suggestions, and these are for the 13 Moons members. So if you're watching the replay of this part will be edited out, but I will do a tarot reading after this. So that will be the next thing on our agenda. But in between, let's talk briefly about what we can do to help align with this Sagittarius energy. Okay, let's go over our tarot reading really quick. We're coming up on our hour. I want to be mindful of your time, and we've already done a lot. We did this Lotus Blossoming Meditation, bringing in the elements, the guides, the guardians. We have talked about a lot as well. So tarot reading is for the past, the present, the future, and I did get a bonus card. It was kind of sticking up, and I felt like it needed to be flipped over, and when I did, I knew it needed to be flipped over. It just came in with the themes of things. So let's start with our past card. I pulled Strength. By the way, this is from the Tarot of the Divine, and I don't have the box for those cards on me right now, but they do have a book that accompanies called Beneath the Moon. Beneath the Moon, Fairy Tales, Myths, and Divine Stories from Around the World by Yoshitani. And this book contains all of the stories that are associated with these cards that you pull from the Tarot of the Divine. The Tarot of the Divine box looks just like this cover of this book, if that helps. You can get it on Amazon, but Tarot of the Divine. So I have the Strength card. This represents the Scottish story of Tam Lin, which you can look up on your own if you want to do a little exploration. But notice how she is fighting this creature, kind of holding him at his mouth. And this is reminding us of the resiliency that we have gained, what we have been through, the hard work we've gone through, the battles that we've fought. It's all of this that we've navigated with this previous Aries lunar cycle and Aries energy coming into play, between the eclipse, the total solar eclipse in Aries, between this whole eclipse series, between the shadow work behind us. You know, all of that now is coming out as a reminder. It's a reflection. It's to say, hey, you are so strong. And I'm not going to lie, that used to be something that just irritated the heck out of me when people would say it. I have been through a lot. I've been through a lot in my life. If you know me, you know I've shared a lot of stories, and I haven't shared stories, but I've been through a lot. And a lot of times in my past, when I would go through these times, and this is long before I was on my spiritual path, this is when I'm just like traversing life as a unawakened lemming. But when I would go through these hard times, these challenging, traumatic times, people would always say, you're so strong. You're so strong. I admire you. You're so strong. And I would just hate it because I just wanted to not be strong. I wanted to be weak. I wanted to be vulnerable. I wanted to cry. I wanted somebody else to take the effing heavy load off of me. Just take my burdens and lighten my load. But I never got that, because that was not what my soul chose for this journey in life. And so now, of course, I am in a different spot where I can really see how strong I've become, that strength, that resiliency that I have gained. But remind yourself now, under this moon, that everything you've been through has made you stronger, wiser, better, a more magical person, a better person. And that's what this card wants us to see. It's represented by the number 8. So you can think about 8 in that symbol of infinity, you know, the highs, the lows, what goes down must come up, what goes up must come down. Very karmic looping energy. This is a reminder of us now reaping what we've sowed, really starting to gain off of all of the hard work that we did. For the present card, I have the Queen of Coins in reverse. And I am going to probably butcher this name, but I have it marked. This is the story of Wara Murungunju. Wara Murungunju. And this is from Northern Australia. This is a Gunwingu deity. Again, probably butchering that. Please forgive me. But this is, from the tarot's perspective, the energy of mastering our craft, mastering our skill, and also being financially supported in our joy, our bliss, our skill, our craft, our pleasure. And when it is in reverse, This doesn't necessarily mean that this isn't going to happen or this is going to fail. This actually is an internal protection message to say, hey, it's time to go in a different direction. You have mastered this craft. You have graduated. You have become the master. You have learned what you need to learn. Now it's time to learn something different, to go on a new journey, to become a new master at something, to craft in a different way, to work on more shadows, to go to battle in another way, to find more joy. There are all these different possibilities coming into play, but ultimately you are going to end up on the other side again, financially supported, but in a different way from before. And it could be in a same but different with this reverse card. Maybe it's similar energy, but a different way. Notice that there's also, kind of this snake around the card, all the way around the perimeter. This is reminding us of those limits that we're going to have to break through as we transform and transmute and shed our skin and our layers and become somebody new. There's also all of these flowers around to remind us, as the present card, that this is an initiation happening underneath this full flower moon, represented by the lotus energy, which is Anuradha in the Scorpio constellation, that sign of transformation. So it is time to molt. It's time to shed your skin, step out of the shadows, become somebody new. And as you work on this craft over time, it is going to support you the same, if not better, than what you already have. For our future card, I got another reverse card, the Hermit. And when we get the Hermit reversed, it is permission to come out of our cave, come out of our shell, come out of the forest, take off the hood and cloak, and let yourself come into the light. What did I say earlier? Healing is not our sole purpose in this life. We are also in this life's journey to have the fullest human experience. We are here to embrace our magic. It's why we do the shadow work. It's why we do the alchemy, to find the gold and to find the magic. By the way, this is the Druids and the White Stag. It is Irish mythology or Irish legend, if you want to look into that to get more insight. But when we have this reversed, it's ultimately just saying, hey, hard work is done for now. You can come out and play. You can just embrace the magic, have fun, get creative, ride your white horse off into the sunset, live in your pleasures, live in your bliss, because you don't always have to be in that depressive state. That's not the whole point of it all. Get out of the victim story and ascend. I got a bonus card, as mentioned. I flipped it over. It was the Three of Cups, which is perfect for this full moon. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration. We are underneath the star of success in Vedic astrology. It is Buddha's birthday in the East. And even on the Western side of the world, we're ruled by Sagittarius energy, which is one of the most elated, positive, excited, happiest signs in the zodiac wheel. So we're reminded right now to just take a little bit of a break. You don't always have to be working. Healing is not your sole purpose. We are also here to party. We're also here to not only be with ourselves and become friends with ourselves, but also to become friends with others. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. It's very social. It's very external. We're in the season of Gemini. It's very social. It's very external. We're underneath a full moon in Sagittarius. It's very fiery, but also very social and external. Now, Sagittarius energy on the low side can be cold, can be reserved, because they're selective about who they truly let in. They really need honest, authentic people. They need go-getters. They're kind of particular about who they let into their inner circle. But regardless, everybody that's around them is going to feel uplifted, supported, because they carry that positive light wherever they go. So we now need to shine that light onto others. I mentioned this in my newsletter today, like pick a bouquet of flowers and give it to a friend, or go buy a bouquet of flowers and give it to a friend. Or maybe you give your friend energetic flowers. Send them a text, a message, give them a call, tell them that you appreciate them. Tell them that they're awesome. Give them words of encouragement. Shower them with love and flowers. Celebrate the work they've done. Party with them, like celebrate their victories. Help them to see what they have achieved and accomplished. That's very Three of Cups energy. There's also this elatedness, the cups like stacking on top of each other, reminding us that when we truly come together in that blissful, elated, positive state, there is so much that we can build upon. There's so much that can be created, and there is so much more of the cup overflowing with fortune and feelings of abundance. When we truly think about how we are wealthy in this life, right? Yes, we think about money. Yes, we think about our material things, but we also think about our health, and we think about the people in our life, right? Like you feel so full when you have that love of family or that love of a strong group of friends. And this being a time when Venus is combust by the sun, and this is related to the story of Anana and Ereshkigal, and Venus is essentially right now stripping off her material world and the things that make her material, and she's getting down to her rawest, barest self as she prepares to become fully Kazemi, fully combust before she shifts into evening star. But in this process, as she's taking everything off, we're reminded to take away those material aspects and things and really look for the true gold, the true wealth, the true value in this life's experiences. Who are connections that have made things possible for us? Who are the people that have shown us love and support when we need it most? Who has held space for us? Who has helped us to gain insights and wisdom? Who has given us knowledge? Who have been our teachers? Who have been our therapists? Who have been, those people that heart to heart give those bonds to us? Who has given us love and romanticism? Who has given us friendship? Who has given us trust? Who has given us honesty? These are all things to reflect on right now underneath this moon, this lunar portal, and something to prioritize as we move forward, because we're moving into a much more social season, the season of summer coming next, and that hermit crab of Cancer will want us to retreat a little, or will want to take things personal, or maybe we'll want to hold on to things of the past, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to be that way. We want to really be open to the opportunities that are coming our way for friendship and companionship and support, because we can have it all. We do not have to do it alone, and we can celebrate it all together. This is the reading I have for you tonight, and this is pretty much what I have for you tonight with this moon. As mentioned before, we did Guides and Guardians of the Direct Way, and you could definitely do that lotus blossoming meditation again if you wanted to seal up the circle, instead of thinking about this lotus opening and invoking in these guides and guardians. You could think about just sealing up that, circle space and letting the guides and guardians go with each exhale as you're breathing and acknowledging. Lots of different ways that you can do it, but I'm going to let you explore it on your own in the spirit of Sagittarius. We are going to meet again on June 6th for the new moon in Gemini. I will have a mirror work practice to do with you, and I can't wait to talk then about what's to come. Then we'll be in a totally different energy than we're in now. There's so much shifting very, very quickly right now, so be prepared. Use this full moon as a check-in point just to see how you're feeling. Maybe take some rest, hydrate, get a good hot bath, get a massage, get a good yoga practice or stretching. Also a good time to see how you're how you're feeling. Something's gumming out of my heart right now. But how are you feeling right now? I always use full moons as a check-in point of how we're feeling. How do you feel in your emotions? How are you feeling in that state of bliss or pleasure? Do you feel like there could be more? Do you feel like there's blockages? Make your adjustments right now. Let go where you need to. Release underneath the full moon, kind of breathe it away and let yourself be open for this next lunar cycle to come. Also, in just a couple of days, we have Jupiter shifting into Gemini, which Jupiter shifts signs every a couple of years. So this one will be going on for a bit, and well, it's a little over a year, but this one's going to be going on for a while. And when we have the biggest planet of the zodiac shifting into air, there can be a lot of possibilities. So rest now while you can and get ready for what's ahead. Okay, loves, until we meet again, Loka, Somasta, Sukino, Babantu. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all feel safe and at peace. May we all feel loved, be loved, love one another. And may our actions, intentions, and behavior contribute to that happiness, that health, that wellness, that safety, that peace, and that love for all. And so it is. And so it already is. And so it mote be. Blessed be.